Feliz Cinco de Mayo! Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome in to this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. So glad to have you with us. Happy Monday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Appreciate y'all being here with us. This is our only live show of the week this week. No Wednesday live show. I got to go home, take care of some family business this week. So we will bring you an extended Monday show today to make up for not having a Wednesday live show this week. We'll go over the rookie minicamp winners and losers from over the weekend. We will also, in the second segment, be talking cut candidates. I got 5 surprise cut candidates who could be on the chopping block. Also, I'm going to get to my first official 53-man roster projection for Seattle, who I think right now has the best chance of making the roster when it's all said and done. And we will do a Q&A rumors mailbag. Normally, we don't do it on Mondays. That's usually a Wednesday thing. But because I'm not here this week, we will do a Q&A mailbag today. So 4 total segments, a big show for you today. Appreciate y'all stopping by and hanging out here with us on Seattle Seahawks Today. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling. We're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in downtown Dallas, Texas. It is good to be here after having a little extended weekend. Went out to Los Angeles, Southern California for a few days. Had a good time, but good to be back and hanging out here with the 12s here on this Monday. Let us know where you guys are at, and we will show you some love as we get this show started. I got Jimmy saying has not been excited about the draft in years. Yeah, this is a fun draft class. We're going to talk plenty about Jalen Milroe and some of the other guys today coming up in just a bit. Got Morgan checking in Edmonton. Morgan, I'm a Dallas Stars fan when it comes to hockey, but maybe more importantly, I'm cheering against all the Canadian teams in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. I hope all of your Canadian teams lose. The U.S. has not lost a Stanley Cup since 1993. Who else we got here? We got Sazels in Lacey, Washington. Got Robin in Salt Lake. Got Xander in Everett. Dwayne is in Seattle. Donald in Colorado Springs. Asher is in Yakima. Got Carl in Washington. I got Xander in Centralia. Got Clint in Seattle with the Oregon State Beaver avatar. Have fun in the Pac-2. You guys got left behind. Steve J is in Seattle. Got Team Swag in Seattle. Thomas is in Rochester. Josh is in Tacoma. One says, "Good afternoon, fearless leader." Hey, good to see you. I love when you acknowledge me as your fearless leader. Bow down to your leader. Ready for the live stream today from Oceanside, California. I was just down the road from you this weekend, Juan. Asher is in Yakima. Mike is in sunny Spokane. Gary is in Tillamook, Oregon, where it still smells. We got Justin in Vancouver. Alyssa in Wyoming. Marty is in Winchester, Virginia. Abdul is in Saudi Arabia. You got that oil money going for you, Abdul? Can you send some of that oil money my way? Xander saying, "We love you, fearless leader. All hail, fearless leader. All hail. All hail. Bow down to your leader." Larry is in Brazil. Are you allowed to wear green in Brazil these days? I imagine it's probably tough to be a Seahawk fan in Brazil with that whole thing about how you can't wear green in Brazil. Something to do with gangs or something like that. I don't know exactly. All right. How would you grade the Seattle Seahawks offseason? A, B, C, D, or F? What would your grade be for this offseason? And I'm not just talking the draft. I'm talking about everything. The trades that have been made, free agency, the draft, all of it. What do you think of what has gone on in free agency? A, B, C, D, or F? Team Swag says, my cousin, nephew got an invite to minicamp for the Seahawks. Team Swag, who is your cousin? Who is your cousin, by the way? Peter checking in. Good to see you. Asher's going with a B. A, B, C, D, or F. Cecil says A. What would your grade be for the Seattle Seahawks offseason? Xander's saying A. What else we got here? A, B, C, D, or F. Seattle Bicycler saying A+. Yes, you can use plus-minus grades if you want to. Although, I will say, I didn't like it when my high school switched to a plus-minus grading system. Why would you want to hurt us? Why are you trying to make life harder on everybody? Jefferton says A-. Lon says C. Lon, what do you not like? What do you not like? Why do you have a C? Peter says, I'll say this, Seahawks have done a good job this offseason, so A+. Steve says A. Morgan says B+. Gary says A. Mike says A+. We still have money left over. That is true. That is very, very true. On the ones and twos, the one and only Big Tex is here with me today, and he is getting his glasses on, and he's about ready to go, and he's going to give some shout-outs and all here in just a bit. Big Tex, first off, we did our research before the show. It is Feliz Cinco de Mayo. That's what we found out today. We did our research. It is Cinco de Mayo. So Feliz Cinco de Mayo to you. Are you partaking? Are you hanging out with any of your Mexican friends tonight and celebrating Cinco de Mayo? What's the game plan? Is it a real holiday, first and foremost? I've been told that it actually has nothing to do with Mexican independence, I believe.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. That doesn't sound necessarily untrue. That sometimes happens. We take holidays and kind of morph them in what we want them to be in our
What
culture.
is it actually? Does anyone in the chat know what Cinco de Mayo actually is?
Feliz Day Cinco de Mayo, regardless.
Any plans tonight?
I do not have any direct plans with any Hispanic friends of mine. I do have Hispanic friends. I do, but not any in the works right now.
Breaking news. Big Tex has Hispanic friends.
Yes, I do. But they are out of town celebrating with their family.
Okay, you're amigos.
Yes.
I got some Hispanic friends too.
Nice.
Everybody needs some amigos, you know.
That's right.
I'll keep it simple tonight for Cinco de Mayo. I'm gonna sip on a margarita, frozen with tahini.
I like it.
Is the move for me.
That's the little stuff you sprinkle on like beer cans sometimes.
Yeah, the red stuff. Mm-hmm. A little spicy, you know.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That's my move. Just give me a regular lime margarita, frozen with tahini. That's the best way to have a marg. Are you a marg guy? What's the best way for you to have a marg, Tex?
That's a great question. I am a marg guy. I don't really drink as much as I used to, but in the past, I definitely would get several margs with my friends right around this time of year. So big.
So what's your favorite way to make a marg?
I prefer frozen, but I also don't mind on the rocks. I'm kind of flexible in that sense. Like if they only have on the rocks, I'll take that. But I guess like a preference would be iced because I like slushies because I used to work at Sonic. So
okay, now are you tahini, salt, or sugar on the rim, or nothing on the rim?
That's a good question because I've tried tahini on like beer cans at parties that I used to go to that were like with a bunch of Hispanic people, which is totally cool, and they were my friends, and that was on a beer can. I've never tried it on a margarita glass. I've only tried salt and sugar. I would say between those two, I would like salt more. But I would be interested to try tahini on it.
Okay.
And so that's definitely a possibility as well.
So we've gotten some clarification on what Cinco de Mayo actually is. We have a lot of historians in the chat. It's about the Mexican army beating France, is what it is.
An unlikely victory over France in battle, it seems like.
Okay. So they were the underdogs.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe they were beating Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yeah. Take that, Napoleon.
There we go. I don't know if that's
Napoleon,
the right time period.
Give me your tots. You lost. You got to give your tots.
And we're going to drink and celebrate.
Yeah.
There we go.
So that's what the meaning of Cinco de Mayo is. Not Mexican independence, but rather beating France.
I like it.
You grew up in Texas. You know all about the Alamo. I don't think Cinco de Mayo has anything to do with the Alamo, though.
No, it does not. And it would not favor the Spanish in our sense because I'm a native Texan, so.
Well, no, that's the thing. Texas lost.
That's true.
So it did favor the Spanish.
It did favor the Spanish. It did not favor us. You're right. Yeah.
Now,
murked.
As somebody that grew up in Texas, how many years of school did you have to go through of learning about the Alamo?
I think it was only like 1 or 2. I think it was like 6th and 7th grade. We had like state history.
Yeah.
And then we had like U.S. history after that. and they kind of combined the topics in both years and talked about it in different ways each year. More specifically about the Alamo, obviously in state history because we live in Texas.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Texas in the school system, but we also talked about it the next year in the global scale of like state history as well, or like U.S. history, if you will.
So I went to the Alamo a few weeks ago in San Antonio. Not for the first time. I've been a few times.
Okay.
Tex, I would say like the Alamo, it's cool, but it's a bit underwhelming. It's not that big.
Yeah.
They spent all that time to protect that thing?
I will say, I think like its initial size has been somewhat reduced from like what it was. Like if you see it in the movie with like Davy Crockett and stuff, like actually back then it was probably a little bit bigger. I think like it's gotten smaller and kind of eroded away over time.
Okay.
They haven't really I mean, the main part is obviously still there, but I think there were like more walls and like a bigger structure around. That's kind of been replaced by modern stuff.
Okay.
Roads and whatnot.
If you're ready for Seahawks Live on this Cinco de Mayo, and like a shout out from Big Tex, if you'd like him to tell you hola, then spam S in the chat. Let's just get as many S's as we can over this next minute. Find out who's going to be the early favorite to be MVP. Where I got 70, 80 plus people in the building. We want more people to get in here and be a part of our only live show of the week this week. No Wednesday live show. I got to take care of some family stuff. Got to run home. So we're giving you a big, expanded edition of live on this Monday to make up for the lost time that we won't have together on Wednesday. So go ahead and start spamming S. Let's get as many as we can over this next minute. I'll go ahead and start spamming the S's right now, and let's get this show off and rolling. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Stewie. I've got Jonathan. Let's see. Who else do we got? We got Seattle Bicycler, Peter, Cozina. Let's see. Stewie. Jonathan. Nitsu. There's a new one. Let's get some S's in there. Come on, guys. Let's get serious. You want an Ola from Big Tex and a Como Estas? Here we go. Nitsu. Marty. Jonathan. Como Estas? Stewie. Nitsu. Jonathan. Nitsu. Steve. Steve. Marty. Jonathan. Steve. Adam. Seattle. Jonathan. Steve. Let's get some new names in there. Spam S.
Keep going.
Stewie. Steve. Jonathan. Chris. Nitsu. Goondocks. That's a crazy name. Steve. Or Stewie. Nitsu. Marty. Stewie. Steve. Nitsu. Stewie. Nitsu. Exen the Great. Stewie. Marty. Jonathan. Steve.
That's
Stewie.
Xander.
Oh, that's Xander. My bad.
Excellent. Xander degree.
My bad. I read that in Parliament.
5 seconds.
Larry,
Keep going. Finish
Xander.
strong.
Schieferton. Nitsu. Jonathan. Stewie. Steve. Xander. Morgan. Jonathan. Larry. Adam.
There we go.
Goon. Sorry, I read your name in like three
Xander
parts.
said that he loved you, though.
Appreciate you, man. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Bear with me.
Oh, gosh. That was, you know, Tex gets on me, and rightfully so. I tell him to do this about pronunciations. That one was something. It gets to the best of us.
I tried.
Sometimes. Yes, it was a valiant effort, nonetheless. Hola, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Appreciate you getting those S's in the chat and starting today's show off the right way. You mentioned wild names. Spoon Diddy is one. Now,
It's crazy.
I got something for you. I'll tell you this real quick before we like the video. I love with this show. It feels like I get a chance to catch up on life with everybody. We don't just talk Seahawks here. You guys get to know me personally in a number of ways. So this weekend, I was in LA and I was in a gym, Tex, where I was told, I didn't see him myself, that Jay-Z was in the same vicinity as me. Didn't run into him, didn't see him, unfortunately, but I will confirm I declined all invites to any Diddy parties while I was there in the same building as Jay-Z. Did not go to any Diddy parties, just for the record.
That's good. That's good. You got to stay
Just
far
want to put
away.
that out there. Did not attend a Diddy party, did not accept any invites. No Diddy. No Diddy here at Seahawks.
I have a
Today.
tiny question.
Okay.
Is Jay-Z affiliated with Diddy? I didn't know this. This is news to me.
There's rumors
Oh,
that he might be on the list.
that's brutal.
Allegedly. Don't sue us.
Allegedly.
Don't sue us. Don't sue us. There's
Don't
rumors.
cancel Jay-Z yet. Just
There's
yet.
rumors that Jay-Z might be on the Diddy list.
I guess I'm deleting my playlist for
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully not.
Jay-Z. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. That's awful.
Jay-Z and Beyonce, not looking good. Not looking good. We'll put it that way. We are at 39 likes right now. We need 50 to start today's show. And I will crack open a cold can of beer when we get to 50 likes, and we will get this thing started. Nitsu saying Diddy is the prime new transformer. I don't know what that means, but cool. Let me know when you like the video. Type me in the chat when you like the video, and we'll get this show started and off and rolling here on this fine Monday afternoon. 40 likes, 10 more to go. 10 more to go, and we'll get started here. It's been a wild start already. We've talked Cinco de Mayo, Mexican history, Jay-Z, Diddy. No Diddy. It's always no Diddy here. No Diddy. One more like, and we'll start the show, and I'll crack open a beer. One more, and we'll get this thing started. Marty liked it. Thank you. Thank you, Marty. There we go. There's 50 likes. Lon says, rap sucks. No offense. Rock rules. I like rock music. I like rap music, too. I don't think there's a genre of music, in all honesty, that I just hate. There's some I like more than others, but I listen to a variety of things.
Do you like K-pop?
Sure.
Alrighty. I appreciate the open-mindedness of this man's music taste.
I mean, you look at my Spotify, it is very diverse.
Okay.
I listen to everything from country music, rap music, rock, R&B, hip-hop, a little bit of Christian music from time to time, too. Just a little bit of everything.
I respect it.
Peter says, forget Diddy. Yeah, no Diddy. No Diddy.
No Diddy.
Nitsu's in the same boat. He says, I love all music. And I'm a musician, too. I don't know how many people know this about me. Like,
oh, wow.
I sing, I play guitar, drums, piano. So I think that I appreciate the art, from my background.
Yeah, definitely. I did not know that about you. That's
Yeah.
cool.
All right. Tex has a favor to ask of all the 12s out there for our final segment. Tex, what is it you need?
Yes. Great question.
What is it you need?
I need you guys to ask questions relevant to the Seattle Seahawks. I should say that. Just gonna
No Diddy.
No Diddy questions. Only questions about the Seattle Seahawks and the NFL as it relates to the Seattle Seahawks, please. But use #Seahawks and a space in your question, or your question, a space, and then #Seahawks together to get it on the show. And I am able to pull your question, and if you do that or you super chat, we'll get you on the mailbag. And super chats actually get a priority in our mailbag segment. But if you want to get on and you have no financial means to, the other way would be using #Seahawks. So please do that now. Get your questions in. I'll put it in the chat so you guys know how to do it. And I appreciate y'all.
Simple as that.
Yes.
The more questions, the merrier. Super chat questions get priority.
That's right.
There is the super chat menu, by the way, if you would like to send us a super chat. We can party and have a good time today on this Cinco de Mayo. First-time super chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5, get a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, spin the wheel of punishment. $50, we'll do a beer bong. I'm seeing, like, Dylan and Jimmy, they're asking questions, but they didn't use #Seahawks. How do you expect me to answer that if you don't use #Seahawks or super chat? Like, come on. You guys know better than that. #Seahawks or super chat. We'll include it in the mailbag. Like, Xander's even got a question for Tex. Put it in the mailbag. If you say that you want Tex to answer your question, I'll put Tex on the mailbag. I don't care. Just make a point you want Tex to answer it. I'll bring him in. Use #Seahawks or super chat, and we'll include it. But there's a super chat menu. Whoever sends in the first super chat of the day, I don't care if it's $1, if it's $100, we're going to go crazy, show you some love for being the first super chatter of the day. So that is the menu. On today's program, we'll go over the winners and losers from rookie minicamp. We will also be talking cut candidates, who's on the chopping block. Also, we have a 53-man roster projection to get to, our first 53-man roster projection. And then we will do Q&A rumors mailbag. Start getting in your questions now. Don't make me wait. All right. Be like Jody. That's my JoJo. Jefferton, getting a question in. Use #Seahawks or super chat. Ty Man, the Buckeye in the house. What up, Tyler? Ty Man, get a question in. Mike, you can't have a space between the hashtag and Seahawks. You got to put it all in one thing together. #Seahawks. Simple as that. There you go. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Jonesy and Big Tex here with you on this Cinco de Mayo. We'll go ahead and get started with this edition of Seahawks Today. As we all set, we ready to go? All right, without further ado, this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today begins right now. So we told you last week on the program that our guy, Patrick Seatman, our second favorite ginger behind Sam Darnold, the host of Vikings Now, challenged us to a sub-battle of the Sams between Sam Darnold and Sam Howell. And we want to stick it to Vikings Now and show that we have the better fan base and the much superior Sam. So I need you to subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you live shows every week, daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, along with breaking news, Q&A mailbags. The most interactive Seahawks channel around is Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. Let's beat Vikings Now in this sub-battle this month. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Subscribe now for free, and we'll get started with today's show. Hola! Feliz Cinco de Mayo! Amigos, welcome in to this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for starting off a brand new week with us here on the channel. Rookie minicamp was over the weekend, and what we're going to do today is break down the winners and the losers from Seahawks rookie minicamp, because let's face it, you could be one of just two things in life. You're either a winner or you are a loser, and we got a full list to get to here on today's show. Let's begin with the talk of the NFL this weekend. Jalen Milroe, he's our first winner on the winners list. And I got to tell you, you didn't have to be looking too hard on the interwebs. You didn't even have to go to the dark web, believe it or not, to find footage of Jalen Milroe of how much he impressed in his first official outing with the Seattle Seahawks. And one of the things that we saw from Milroe, granted it's limited of what they can actually do in this type of setting, but he was showing command already with this Seahawks offense, working with his fellow rookies, and he impressed his head coach, Mike Macdonald. Macdonald said this: one thing that you don't get to see for Jalen watching on tape is just the spirit he has from play to play. He's got great energy, great competitive energy. He's trying to get it right. Great command of the huddle, really takes pride in the operation. All the fundamental things we're going to be building on from the ground up. He's just got a great attitude about it. If you have that attitude, especially at the quarterback position, everybody else tends to fall in line. In that regard, it was really fun to be around. With that, and here's what Jalen Milroe had to say, by the way, on rookie minicamp. With that, it's all about being an efficient passer. The more you work, the more you understand your body, you're going to be more of an efficient passer. That's something we will work on and we'll continue to work on so I can be the best quarterback I can be. So that's what Milroe is focusing on going forward, is being an efficient and effective passer from this point forward. And I got to say, just with the small sample size, this seemed to be a huge step in the right direction for Jalen Milroe with this performance and impressing coaches, getting eyes on him for the first time in person. Again, there's not a whole lot that goes on of what they actually can do, but to me, this felt like the coming out party, not the Diddy party, but the coming out party for Jalen Milroe this past weekend at rookie minicamp, and he impressed, and I'm excited to see what he does going forward from here. So, 12s, let's ask you, our pinned comment today, do you believe in Jalen Milroe? Is he him, as the kids would say? You got two options here. Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in on our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know what you think. Type B for believe, D for don't. Up next, let's go to second-round pick Nick Emmanwori at the safety position out of South Carolina. And there's a lot of questions out there about, okay, we know Emmanwori is a talented player, but what are you exactly going to do with him? Because you already have two pretty good safeties in Kobe Bryant and Julian Love. And Nick Emmanwori is too good not to be on the football field. Well, Emmanwori, this past weekend, not only did he get reps at safety, but he also lined up at the nickel back position, which we've seen Devin Witherspoon do a phenomenal job at the last couple of seasons. One of the things we've mentioned about in the past was Mike Macdonald had a rising star in Kyle Hamilton with the Baltimore Ravens, who's now one of the best safeties in football. And he started out at the nickelback spot before he made the full-time transition to the safety position. So could something like that be in the works for Emmanwori here? Macdonald had this to say on Emmanwori. You see the movement skills. You see all the things you saw on tape. He's got great intent. I think he wants to be great, which is a fun characteristic to work with. Great start, great start. Now we got to detail it up. We got to get our angles right. There's a lot of fundamentals that we'll be working on when he comes back. It's going to be fun to work with him. Emmanwori had this to say on the rookie minicamp experience. They threw a little bit at me. I was playing a little bit of every position, but football is football. I was out there just playing fast, competing and stuff. Just like how it was when I transitioned from high school to college. From college to the NFL, things are a bit more detailed, a little bit more fast-paced, but they're taking things slow. Rookie minicamp trying to take things one step at a time. So for me, it's just finding ways to get him involved. I think he's a good enough athlete. Whether he's playing nickel or playing safety, he can make an impact in this defense one way or another. That's the number one thing I want to see is just finding a way to use him. And based on what we've seen already, it would seem that Mike Macdonald already has several ideas in mind. Let's see him grow and go from here. Can't wait to see what he delivers next. Let's talk about the first pick of the draft for Seattle. That is offensive lineman Gray Zabel. We're expecting him to play the offensive guard spot. Most likely will start at the left guard position. And for Zabel, this is a guy that, comes from humble beginnings, right? Grew up on a farm in the Dakotas and played at North Dakota State. I'm sure, his life has been pretty simple, just eating corn and hanging out with the cows and, doing all that. And now here he is all these years later, and he's a first-round draft pick getting to live the dream, playing for one of the best organizations in football. And Zabel described this as a surreal experience, just kind of taking it all in. I love that attitude, an attitude of gratitude, as my pastor would like to say. That's what he's displaying here of making this move to the Seattle Seahawks. Mike Macdonald was very complimentary of him as well as the rest of the rookie offensive linemen, saying this, great group overall, really excited about our draft picks. Hard to give it a fair evaluation right now. You can see the skill set, the movement, things we see on tape, see the attitude. We will work the finish and all that stuff when it becomes time, but really good first step with those guys. But it's fun to see it come to life. Zabel on Rookie Minicamp said this, quick, surreal, whirlwind of emotions. Super fun. Anything you could possibly think of. I mean, it's a lifelong dream to say you get drafted, let alone be drafted to the Seattle Seahawks. What a surreal experience this past week has been. It's a step in the right direction. Take it all in, big fella. Enjoy it. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow, all right? And so for him to just be grateful, I love that mindset that he has going in and to know that he did a good job this week. Can't wait to see what he does going forward from here. Got a few more names to get to. We also have losers to talk about, too. Who is a winner from Seahawks Rookie Minicamp? If you had to give me one player that comes to mind, who would it be and why? Why in the comments section and let us know. Speaking of Gray Zabel, we have his jerseys on sale now at chatsports.com/Seahawks Rookies. You will get the jersey with his new number, by the way. We got Jalen Milroe as well as other Seahawks rookies. You can go see it for yourself. Look, it's almost summertime. The season will be here before we know it. I can't think of a better way to be rocking out with your Hawk out than by supporting your favorite team and rocking a jersey of one of the newest members of the Seattle Seahawks. And I think personally, this is the perfect time to get a jersey of one of these guys because you're going to maximize the link that you get from these players. Get yours down, chatsports.com/Seahawks rookies. We also have other Seahawk players available at that same link. Maybe you're feeling more like Sam Darnold or Cooper Kupp, whatever it may be. Check it out, chatsports.com/Seahawks rookies. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Get yours today. All right, now let's talk about big Texas guy, Elijah Arroyo at the tight end position from Miami. I am so thrilled that he is here. The second-round pick, I think, has potential to be a star in the National Football League. And one of the things that was shown already with Elijah Arroyo was his athleticism was on full display this past weekend. All right? And you can't teach athleticism. You either got it or you don't. And with Elijah Arroyo, he faced some tough competition, went up against some really good players, and he met the challenge, letting that athleticism speak for itself. Michael Sean Duggar of The Athletic said this: there was a play during Saturday's practice that required Emmanwori to cover Arroyo across the field. Emmanwori has the wheels to do that, but with Arroyo's speed and long strides, you can see how the rookie may create issues for defenses that don't have great athletes at inside linebacker or safety who can turn their hips and run with him. Arroyo, talking about his athleticism, maybe not quite as humble as our guy Gray Zabel, but I love the confidence. He said this: I'm a big target. I'm a tight end. When it comes to the pass game, I like to count myself as a receiver. I'm excited for this cat. I got me, as John Gruden would say, feeling nicey. Hey, you know, what have we said for the last couple of months since Clint Kubiak took over as the OC? Stop. Get it out of your head. Your idea of how the tight end position's been played previously in Seattle with these tight ends that have been underutilized and not involved in the passing game in the way they should. This is not Shane Waldron or Ryan Grubb's offense anymore, okay? Elijah Arroyo, these guys are going to get plenty of good use and be heavily involved here. I can't wait to see what he does. Last on our winners list, another Miami Hurricane. It's all about the U here on Seahawks Today. Damian Martinez, the 7th-round pick. And Martinez, something about these guys from Miami coming in with a little swag. Martinez, he said this himself, all right? I'm quoting him here. I'm not saying I agree with this, but this is what he said. Damian Martinez sent a message to all the 12s out there. He said, get ready for Beast Mode 2.0. Okay? I don't know about that, but I like it. I like it. He's saying he's the second coming of Marshawn Lynch. All right. Okay. That's fine. Bleacher Report had this to say on Martinez. Martinez isn't the ideal fit in Clint Kubiak's zone stretch scheme. However, an argument can be made that he'll be decisive in where he chooses to cut and then get downhill in a hurry. Martinez, on the rookie minicamp experience, he said this: how much of a team player I can be, special teams, other things like that, playing without the ball, being a better teammate. Like you said, they watch plenty of tape. It's the reason I'm here. So I'm just showing things that you don't see on film. I think he's going to be a difference maker. I think he's too good not to get on the football field in some capacity. I know this running back room is loaded with K9, Charbonnet, Kenny McIntosh, but the fact that he can be used in special teams, that he's a good pass catcher, a good runner, I can't wait to see what he does on that front. In a moment, let's get to some injury news. We also have the losers from rookie minicamp as well. But I want to know first, who is your favorite Seahawks rookie this year? If you had to pick one, who would it be? Sound off in the comment section and let us know who your favorite Seahawks rookie is. Some injury news to get to as expected. Riley Mills and Torrey Horton sat out from rookie minicamp. No real timeline on their returns as well. So we'll continue to monitor those situations when we have more information. But at least for now, they are out for the time being, and hopefully they get back to the football field sooner than later. We shall see. The rookie minicamp losers, you can't really point to a rookie because everything is going to be positive coming out of rookie minicamp. There's nobody that really struggled, but we can point to who was affected by this. And if you're Drew Lock, I can't imagine you're feeling too great right now about what Jalen Milroe is doing. Because if Jalen Milroe continues to shine, then there might not be a place on this roster for Drew Lock when the season begins, because historically speaking, the Seahawks have only liked to carry two quarterbacks. And if they believe in Jalen Milroe and they've seen enough for him to be QB2, it might be sayonara for Drew Lock in his time in Seattle already. Noah Fant, contract situation doesn't look great. He underperformed the last couple of seasons, and Elijah Arroyo's coming on strong, and A.J. Barner is better than we expected. So Noah Fant might be looking for a new home as well. Both their futures are in question. We'll call them the quote-unquote losers of rookie minicamp this week. For continuing Seahawks coverage throughout the rest of the offseason, you got to be subscribed. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right. That is one segment down. 3 more to go. Up next, we'll talk cut candidates, and then we'll go over in a 53-man roster projection, and then we'll do a Q&A mailbag of all here on today's show. So that is 1 quarter down, 1 in the books as we continue here on Seahawks Today. Do you believe in Jalen Milroe? B for believe, D for don't. Ravens just released Justin Tucker. I guess he's got more time for massages now after getting released there. B for believe, D for don't. Jody says B. Stoney says B. Pat says B. No name going B. Xander going B. Jody's saying B. Ty Man saying B. Gingerbread Man, good to see you. Good to see you. I hadn't seen you yet, Gingerbread Man. Ty Man saying B. Spoon Diddy saying B. Sosa saying B. Michael saying B. And then our poll question right now, we're asking, pick a QB2. Who should be QB2, Drew Lock or Jalen Milroe? Over 200 votes, 71% of you going with Jalen Milroe, 29% going with Drew Lock. So the vast majority of you are on the Milroe train at this point. Still waiting to see who's going to send our first Super Chat of the day. First-time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5 will get you a beer cheers. $10 will take some shots. $20 spin the wheel of punishment. $50 we will do a beer bong $sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute and take part. I have found the first 2 haters that don't believe in Jalen Milroe. BJ and Mac. BJ and Mac are the only ones that don't believe in Jalen Milroe. I knew there'd be some haters out there. Who's going to send in the first Super Chat of the day? Who is going to send in the very first Super Chat of the day? I don't care if it's $1, if it's $50. We're going to show you love for being that first Super Chat. First time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5 do a beer cheers. $10 take some shots. $20 spam the wheel of punishment. And $50 we will do a beer bong. That is what's to come here on today's show. Tex, why don't you plug the mailbag? Tell people, I don't know if we've seen too many mailbag questions come in yet. And Gingerbread Man's got a super chat too. So let's do this. Let's Tex, you plug the mailbag, and then we'll catch up on these super chats that we have here. This would be a big help out to Big Tex if you guys can submit questions to us and tell us what's how. All right. So text the mailbag. Plug away. How can people help you?
Yes, great question. So I already saw a couple in there. One way you could is by super chatting. If you send a question, we'll pop that up on screen first, such as Gingerbread Man or Xander. Xander didn't ask a question, but you could answer Gingerbread's. Says, tell us about LA. We'll get to that in a moment. But how you can help us. If you can't super chat, but you still want to get on today's mailbag, use hashtag Seahawks, a space, and then your question about the team, or the other way around, your question, a space, and then hashtag Seahawks together, and then send it in. And I will be able to pull your question from our software here online, and you'll get it on the show.
There you go. Simple as that. Use
That's
hashtag
right.
Seahawks or Super Chat. We'll take care of you. Up next is cut candidates. Let's catch up on these 2 Super Chats that just came in. I told y'all we'd go crazy for the first couple Super Chats that came in. You guys know the deal. It's always a standing offer. When we reach $300 in Super Chats, we will do a boot. We'll see if we potentially could get there today. We're at $25 right now with the first Super Chats that just came in. Let's see. What are people talking about in the chat here? Alexa's saying Jalen Milroe has almost unlimited potential, and he's an absolute freak of an athlete. Zy Alexander and Jared Ivey will both make the 53-man roster. Okay. Gingerbread Man was first. Here we go, folks. Gingerbread Man! Everybody spam Gingerbread Man. My guy. With a $20 super chat. Check it in. He says, tell us about L.A. I had a great time in Los Angeles over the weekend, the city of angels. I'll give the quick recap of my time there. I stayed with a friend of mine that's got a mansion in Ranchos Palos Verdes. I woke up Friday morning to an ocean view. It was very nice. I visited my suit guy out there. This is when I start to sound bougie. I have a suit guy I see when I go to Los Angeles. And I picked up here's the deal, Tex. I picked up a brand new 3-piece blue suit. Not like Monica Lewinsky blue, but a darker blue. And I got it tailored and shipped back here. All in all, I spent $250. Pretty good.
That's a really good deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
My guy took care of me. So,
Not bad.
yeah. So I had a good time. I was on a yacht Saturday. It was very, very good, productive trip to Los Angeles. And now I'm off to Tulsa tomorrow to go take care of some family business for the next few days. So from one place to the next. We'll spin the wheel of punishment for Gingerbread Man. Everybody spam Gingerbread Man in the chat. Lon wants to know how many homeless did I see. I saw quite a bit. I saw one guy literally, this was in Orange County in Anaheim. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and he was sound asleep on the sidewalk. Just laying there. I'm like, okay, all right. Okay, then. But yes, I did see homeless people in Los Angeles, kind of par for the course, as one would expect there to be. We'll spin the wheel of punishment here in just a bit, and then we got one more super chat, and then we'll get to our second segment. Keep submitting your questions for the mailbag. We'll bring in our final segment of the show, hashtag Seahawks or super chat, and we will get you on the show. There is the wheel of punishment. Our options on the wheel of punishment: 20 jumping jacks, raise right hand. We got 10 push-ups. Say something nice about DK Metcalf. 5-minute shot clock. So we will see what comes up with that. So let's spin the wheel. Everybody, let's see. Let's see what we end up with. That's fine. Here we go, folks. This one's for Gingerbread Man. Big money. Wheel of Fortune. Oh, I got to say something nice about DK Metcalf. I'm running out of nice things to say about DK Metcalf. Something nice about DK Metcalf. I'll say that I'm happy that DK's a married man. He has a beautiful wife. I'm happy for him that he found somebody. I'm happy that somebody is willing to put up with his antics. That even with his attitude, even with as crazy as he could get, that even DK Metcalf could find love out there. So I'm happy for him. There you go. There's something nice about DK Metcalf. Even the crazies can find love someday. That's the American dream right there. There you go, DK. All right. Xander with a $5 super chat. That's a beer cheers. Xander, cheers to you. Xander the Great. That is his name. I don't remember what Tex called him earlier, but it was not Xander the Great, but that's his name. Xander the Great, cheers to you. Go Hawks. All right. Let's talk cut candidates now. I got 5 surprise cut candidates we'll tell you about. Then we'll go to the 53-man roster, and then we will do a mailbag before we wrap up and get out of here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. So let's continue. Surprising cut candidates begins right now. Here we go. You're watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. On today's program, I got 5 surprising cut candidates for Seattle after the 2025 NFL Draft. Now, I'll be honest here, folks. Seattle's got money to spend. They don't have to cut anybody. But if they do, if they want to trim up some salary, maybe they want to open up a roster spot to bring in another player of some sorts. Here are some options of what they could potentially do. Now, let me say a disclaimer before we go any further in today's show and the comment section yells at me. Of these 5 names, I am not saying that they should cut these individuals. I'll give that verdict later. Just because we have them listed does not mean we are saying they should get cut or that they will get cut. But we are raising the possibility that it could happen. So don't yell at me. Just want to make that clear, and we'll go ahead with today's show. Before we do, the most likes we've gotten on a single video so far for the month of May is 416. We can do better than that. Come on, folks. Like, it's not that hard. You hit the like button. Should be the very first thing you do when you watch the video is hit that like button. You get me, your fearless leader, on this show every day talking Seahawks football. What's not to like? Hit the like button. I want to get at least 800 likes on today's video. Make it happen. Give it a little tickle, and we'll get going here on Seahawks Today. Let's start with Noah Fant. Noah's Ark, it has not been moving properly. It's been very wavy going through the Mediterranean. You know, I kind of feel bad for Noah and all the animals because it just hasn't gone the way that we had hoped in his tenure in Seattle at this point in time. And if we're going to be frank, with the level of talent that Noah has to offer, he has underperformed expectations. And there was the thought process at first that it was on coaching, that the coaching staff wasn't doing a job of properly utilizing him. And I do think there was some truth to that. All right? But then you bring in a whole new coaching staff, new regime change, and we still didn't see much results. If you cut him, you can save close to $9 million. And you look at the details of the stats we're talking about here. 1 touchdown in 2 seasons. How does that happen? Only 500 yards, 48 catches, 10.4 yards of reception. I was really excited about this guy. But you know what? I have found a new lover in Elijah Arroyo. I have turned all my attention to Elijah Arroyo now. I don't have much love for Noah Fant anymore. I've moved on past Noah Fant. My verdict, I would actually trade him and try to get something out of him if I can. Anything. And then if I can't trade him, then potentially cut him from there. But that's what I would do with Noah Fant if we're up to me. Now let's ask you, our pinned comment today. Should the Seahawks keep Noah Fant? You got 2 options. Type Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in the comment section and tell me what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's points, rebounds, assists, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. That's gone up. Used to be 1,000, folks. Turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to basketball's championship series. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you in the Takes Two Tickets sweepstakes, which could get you and a +1 a VIP trip to the ship. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Here's how it works, folks. You choose 2 or more players in any given category, get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. And I'm already looking ahead to the start of the football season on Prize Picks. I got our favorite ginger, Sam Darnold, to have more than 3,475.5 passing yards. Also going with Patrick Mahomes to have more than 3,924.5 passing yards. If I put $20 down, both those hit, that turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Next on the list is quarterback Drew Lock. And I know what you're thinking already. Tyler, he signed not too long ago. Why would he already be released? Well, here's the reality, folks. It's not a money thing. You're not saving hardly anything by potentially releasing Drew Lock here. Your cap savings are only about $500,000 if you were to move on from Drew Lock. But the value here is the roster spot. And history tells us that the Seattle Seahawks typically do not like to carry more than 2 quarterbacks on the active roster. Even with the rule change in the NFL, with the third emergency quarterback, Seattle hasn't really been interested in doing that. And so, obviously, things can change. History doesn't have to repeat itself. But with Jalen Milroe having a strong rookie minicamp, all the excitement and energy about him potentially being the QB2, I don't know if there's a place for Drew Lock at this point. And I think you're probably better off. No offense to Drew. I think Drew is a solid backup quarterback. I really do. I would gladly take Drew Lock as my QB2 on most teams. But you got Jalen Milroe. And if he's ready to be your QB2 and you can use that roster spot elsewhere, I think it makes sense to cut Drew Lock, in all honesty. Again, it's nothing personal. It's just business. I like Drew as my QB2, but if Jalen Milroe is ready to be that backup, there's no need to hold him back. You might as well just go ahead and cut ties with Drew Lock and give him another chance elsewhere to be somebody else's backup. I think that's just the reality of it. It's not personal. It's just business. Sorry, Drew. Tough. For the best Seahawks coverage around, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today as we bring you our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, live shows each and every week. If you are a diehard Seahawks fan, you've come to the right place. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. All right, this one's going to be a big surprise, and this is where the disclaimer comes in. Jason Myers at the kicker position. And I know a lot of you love Jason Myers. I was not happy with him in the preseason last year, but he turned things around and had a pretty decent season, even though the special teams unit was a bit of a mess last year. But here's where we're talking not personal, but business again. You could save $5 million and replace him with a much cheaper kicker. Is Jason Myers worth all that money? And at 33 years of age, here's something to think about, too, when it comes to Jason Myers. I've always been of the belief, the Belichick philosophy. I love Bill Belichick. I'm not so high on his 24-year-old girlfriend these days. But Belichick always had a philosophy of, I'd rather get rid of a player a year too early than a year too late. And if Jason Myers had a bad preseason last year, a couple of years ago wasn't so great, are things going to catch up with him? I'm a little nervous about Jason Myers at this point. When are the cracks going to happen? Because I don't want to be sitting here in October and we're talking about that Jason Myers got the yips and has fallen apart and you're spending all this money on a kicker. Maybe you want to get ahead on things potentially and save some money there. With that said, though, I'll keep him. I'll keep him for now. But in the back of my mind, I think we'd be lying to ourselves if we weren't a bit nervous. I don't think anybody should be fully confident in Jason Myers at this point in his career. Keep that on the back burner, potentially. There's plenty of other kickers out there for far less money. And when's that day going to come? When are the yips going to hit Jason Myers and not be the same kicker he used to be? So something to keep an eye on there. We'll see. Who is a player the Seahawks should cut? We've gone through a few names. We've got a couple more to get to. Well, in the comment section, give us a name that comes to mind. Chime in and tell me who you think is somebody Seattle should move on from. While we're on the topic of special teams, let's talk about Michael Dixon. We call him Mike around here. Mike Dixon, the punter from the University of Texas. Here's another one for you. We're talking money here. $3 million for a punter. I can save a lot more money if I need more cash on a punter than spending that type of cash for a guy like Michael Dixon. And he's 29 years old. He's getting close to 30. It's a conversation I think we at least should be having. I would personally keep Michael Dixon, but don't be surprised. Don't be caught off guard if we see one of these special teamers potentially moved to save some cash if Seattle needs to do so, just because that is a lot of money to be spending on special teams. 3 plus 5, that's $8 million right there. That's a big chunk of change. But I would keep those guys for now, but we'll see. Who's a player the Seahawks should keep? We've gone through a few names here of potential cut candidates. I've given you my verdicts on how I feel. Who is somebody that comes to mind for you? Weigh in and let us know in the comments section. Last on our list of potential cut candidates, this one, it's not a money thing. It's a roster thing. Jake Bobo, former undrafted free agent. You guys all know the more Bobo movement. Everybody loves this guy. But production hasn't really been there the last 2 seasons. He's had a few moments. But, I mean, could that roster spot be used better than with Jake Bobo? You're not going to save much. $1.03 million. But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this personally. When it comes to Jake Bobo here, I personally like Steven Sims Jr. more than I do Jake Bobo. And it might come down to a roster spot decision of Jake Bobo or Steven Sims Jr. And I'll go with Steven Sims, the guy I can use on special teams. Not the Jake Bobo that could barely crack a 5 flat in the 40. Give me the speed guy. Give me the guy I can use on special teams and be a receiver. If that's the decision you have to come down to, I'll take Sims every time over Jake Bobo. So with that, and I think it's going to be very competitive for a roster spot in this receiver room, with that choice I just laid out there, I'm cutting Jake Bobo. I like Jake too. Great story. The more Bobo movement had a good run. But all good things must come to an end. I'm keeping Steven Sims before I'm keeping Jake Bobo, and that might be the decision that Seattle has to make. So that's who I put out there. I'm cutting Jake Bobo if you give me the choice. So all in all, we didn't have a ton of money that we potentially was out there for us to save because Seattle already made the big cap cut savings with Draymond Jones and Tyler Lockett and these others here. But if Seattle did, for this sake, make all these moves, they could save over $18 million, which you could get a very good quality player for that $18 million you saved and you just opened up 5 roster spots in the process as well. So something to keep in mind there, $18 million. I did not endorse cutting all those guys, but we did throw it out there, the possibility of what could happen. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video, we certainly would appreciate it. And we thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out with us here on Seahawks Today. And let's set that likes record. We did 400 earlier in the month. I think we can easily get at least 800 on today's show. Hit that like button. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. All right. Matthew says, terrible move cutting Bobo. Matthew, are you telling me you like Bobo better than Steven Sims? Come on now. Steven Sims is a better player than Jake Bobo. Steven Sims is a better player than Jake Bobo. All right? I mean, that's the alternative. You want me to cut Steven Sims? For those out there, the Bobo defenders, Seth and Jack and Matthew, for those of you out there that want me to keep Jake Bobo, you know that means I have to cut Steven Sims, right? I'm not cutting Steven Sims. Nitsu's saying we need more Bobo. At the expense of Steven Sims, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Should the Seahawks keep Noah Fant? Y for yes, in for no. What do you guys think? Should they keep Noah Fant or not? Weigh in and let us know. No, you don't need to keep Jake Bobo. If you're giving me a choice of Jake Bobo or Steven Sims, sorry, it's Steven Sims all day, every day. That's the right answer. I will be the Steven Sims defender on this show. I will be the Steven Sims defender. Steven Sims is the guy you want. Jake can stick around the practice squad. I want Steven Sims on the field. All right. Super Chat menu. We are halfway home. We got 2 more segments to go. Up next is a 53-man roster projection. And then we will do Q&A Rumors Mailbag. Keep getting in your questions using hashtag Seahawks or Super Chatting to get on today's show. First time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5, do a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, spin the wheel of punishment. $50 will do a beer bong. $sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute. I have not seen one good argument, by the way, as I monitor the chat, of why the Seahawks should keep Jake Bobo over Steven Sims. I can use Steven Sims in special teams and as a receiver. Jake Bobo, he can't do a damn thing for me on special teams. Give me the guy that can do more, that could be versatile. Give me Steven Sims, because that's the choice. It's either keep Sims or it's keep Bobo, and I'm keeping Steven Sims. We are a pro Steven Sims show here. So that's the choice, and that's the choice we've made. It's Steven Sims. All right, let's get to our 53-man roster projection. Our first one since rookie minicamp and the NFL draft. We'll go over every position in just a moment, and then we'll do a Q&A Rumors Mailbag afterwards. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with segment number 3. Third quarter here on Seahawks Today. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's continue now. Welcome in to Seattle Seahawks Today. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have our first 53-man roster projection of the offseason. This is coming after the NFL draft and rookie minicamp. We're going to go over every single position group, and I'm going to tell you who I have making the roster when that gets revealed at the end of August. We'll go over that here in just a little while from right now. Before we do, I got a challenge for all the real 12s out there. If you are a diehard Seahawks fan, then I want you to prove it right now. If you're ready for Seahawks football and you're a diehard 12, spam 12 in the comments section. If we get 1,000 12s on today's video, I will shout out whoever spams it the most in the comments section. Get it going. Spam the 12s. If you're ready for Seahawks football, I want to see at least 1,000 of them, and we'll shout them out. Spam 12, and we'll get started here on Seahawks Today. let's break down what we believe the Seahawks 53-man roster will look like after training camp. And let me preface this by saying one thing real quick before we dive in too much here, folks. We are under the assumption of no trades happening, okay? This is strictly based on players getting released, okay? So let's make that one point very clear as we get to this. Obviously, players could get traded, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Let's assume that it's based on who's currently on the roster as is and go from there. The quarterback, Sam Darnold, your QB1. You may notice before we reveal this next one, I'm only projecting that 2 quarterbacks make the 53-man roster. Who will it be? Will it be Jalen Milroe? Will it be Drew Lock? It is Jalen Milroe, your QB2. Yes, I don't think Drew Lock is going to make the 53-man roster. I think Seattle, historically speaking, has only carried 2 quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe had an impressive rookie minicamp. Why hold him back? If he's good enough to be your QB2 and you can save that roster spot, by all means, you can save about $500 moving on, $500,000 for moving on from Drew Lock. I think you say goodbye to Drew and you give him a chance to go be a QB2 elsewhere. 2 quarterbacks on the roster. Jalen Milroe is that QB2. The backfield for Seattle. Kenneth Walker is still here. Zach Charbonnet is still here. This is under the assumption that neither one of them gets traded. Kenny McIntosh also included on this. And then for the 4th running back, we go Damian Martinez. I do think he beats out George Holani, although I would expect Holani to potentially stick around on the practice squad as a possibility there. And then the fullback spot, a battle between Robbie Oots and Brady Russell. Oots, the recent draft pick out of Alabama, former tight end, or Brady Russell, who's been around this team for a while as well. I think Oots ultimately wins the job, and he gets to be the starting fullback for this Seattle team as they bring the fullback position back into the fold in Clint Kubiak's offense. Now, with that said, there's a lot of rumblings that one of these 2 might get traded in the next few weeks. If you had to keep one, who would you rather keep? It's our pinned comment today. Type K9 for Kenneth Walker III. Type ZC for Zach Charbonnet. Which one would you rather stick around? Weigh in and let us know. Let's go to the wide receiver position. The first few are going to be obvious here. Jackson Smith and Jigba, of course. Cooper Kupp. And then MVS. And although I have my doubts on MVS, I do think he makes the team. And then we have Torrey Horton, the rookie receiver out of Colorado State. And then another rookie receiver. I have Ricky White III, the 7th-round pick out of UNLV. I think that he's going to shock a lot of people, and he should be involved in special teams. And for the final spot, wait a second here, folks. Before we reveal, will it be Jake Bobo? Will it be Steven Sims Jr.? Will it be River Craycraft? Survey says Steven Sims Jr. is the selection here. And let me explain why before all the Jake Bobo defenders come after me here. All right? This is the final spot. And I could go with Sims or Bobo, who are both similar in production. But Sims is a lot faster than Bobo is, and I can use Sims on special teams. I can't use that with Jake Bobo. I'm taking Steven Sims every time. This, to me, is a decision between Sims and Bobo. Sims is the right choice. I mean, Jake can stick around the practice squad potentially, but Sims is the right answer. The right football answer is Sims over Bobo. If you make me make the decision, I'm going with Steven Sims to get that final spot there. The tight ends. Noah Fant is still here for now. I don't think he gets straight up caught. Maybe he gets traded, but for this exercise, we're not doing trades here. So Noah Fant still makes the roster. A.J. Barner off of a solid rookie season. And then Elijah Arroyo, who I cannot wait to see what he does in 2025, are your 3 tight ends. I think they carry just 3 tight ends because you got Robbie Oots at the fullback position. The offensive line. I have 10 offensive linemen making the team. They go as follow: Charles Cross, Gray Zabel. Shocker, Gray Zabel makes the team. Yeah. Olu, of course, Anthony Bradford, and Abraham Lucas. I think right now that's your most likely starting five of your offensive line if the season were to begin today. Now, who backs them up? Let's go Josh Jones, who they signed from the Baltimore Ravens. Let's go with Lumea, who got the start last year and beat out Christian Haynes, if you recall, to get some starts there later in the season. I'll go with another Jayhawk, Bryce Cable-Dew, 6th-round pick. I think he's got a chance to compete with Bradford and Christian Haynes for that starting right guard spot. Watch out for Bryce Cable-Dew. Speaking of Christian Haynes, I have him making the team. And what's crazy is I was looking at some 53-man roster projections from other Seahawks sites. I believe it was SI All Seahawks that said Christian Haynes wasn't going to make the team. Like, you're going to cut a 3rd-round pick after year 2? Hell no. Christian Haynes is making the team. And then we'll go with Mike Jarrell. And you may notice a name that is missing. Mason Richmond, who Seattle picked in the 7th round of the draft. He's not quite going anywhere, though. I have him on the practice squad. All right? It's hard to imagine Seattle carrying more than 10 linemen, going with 11. So we'll slide Mason Richmond in the practice squad. I would think with an injury or something that Mason Richmond probably gets his chance on the active roster at some point, but I think he starts the year on the practice squad. Doesn't mean he's quite going away, but we'll keep tabs on him. I think Cable-Dew has an advantage over Richmond for one of those final roster spots there between the rookie offensive linemen there. How would you grade the Seahawks roster? A, B, C, D, ref. What do you guys think of this group from top to bottom? We've gone through the entire offense. Now we still got to get to the defense. Weigh in. Whip out your red pen. Let us know in the comments section. Folks, you got to be subscribed to Seattle Seahawks Today as we bring you daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, weekly live shows on Mondays and Wednesdays, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and much more. Subscribe now and turn on notifications. That way you're the first to know when we have new content here on the channel. If something happens, I may be on the road, I may be here in the studio, we're going to bring you content right here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Lock us in now. You'll be glad you did. Let's go to the defensive line, the usual suspects, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, as well as Jaron Reed. They're going to make the roster, and I'm excited for all 3 guys, and this defensive line has drastically improved in the last couple of seasons, in particular what they've done to defend the run. Now, the other 3 names, I got Mike Morris making the roster. We'll go Jonathan Hankins, and we'll go Quentin Bohanna as the last player. Now, you may notice one thing. Where is Riley Mills? You just spent a 5th-round pick on the guy. Well, because he had an ACL injury in the first round of the college football playoff, I highly doubt he is going to be ready when the season begins. He might not even play at all this year. He might basically take like a redshirt year of sorts. I think he starts on the PUP list. So he's not going to make the 53-man roster out of the get-go. But you put him on the PUP list, and then if he gets healthy, gets caught up to speed, then he could get elevated to the 53-man roster down the line. But all signs kind of point to that it's unlikely that he's there when the season actually starts. But things could change. We'll see. The outside linebackers. Let's go DeMarcus Lawrence, Uchenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Derek Hall. I like all 4 of these cats. And all 4 are effective pass rushers. I am concerned about the injury side of things, especially with Lawrence and Nwosu. So even though Boye and Derek might technically not be starters, they should all see plenty of playing time. The inside linebackers, Ernest Jones, Tyrese Knight, they'll be your starting linebackers, and then you really lack some depth after that. You go Drake Thomas, and then this might be a surprise for you folks. Jackson Woodard, the UDFA out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I have him getting one of the final roster spots on this team. The Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Mountain West selection. I think he's going to be a pleasant surprise and a breakout player in training camp. Watch out for Jackson Woodard. I think he'll make the roster. What do you guys think? Will Jackson Woodard make the Seahawks 53-man roster? You got two options here. You can type Y for yes, in for no. Get your predictions in. Will he make it or not? I think he's in. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think. Got a great deal for Seahawks fans. Rookie jerseys are on sale now at chatsports.com/Seahawks or rookies. Got the Gray Zabel jersey, the Jalen Milroe jersey, and many others. They're all at the same place, chatsports.com/Seahawks rookies. Got men's and women's options, all sorts of different shapes and sizes available. Go see for yourself, chatsports.com/Seahawks rookies. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. We'll also have other Seahawks jerseys as well when it comes to guys like Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp. They're all at that same link, chatsports.com/Seahawks rookies to get yours now. All right, we got a few more for you. Let's go to cornerback as Devin Witherspoon, Rick Woolen, Josh Jobe, in all likelihood will be your starting corners. The lineup there with Witherspoon, Woolen, and Jobe more than likely to be those three guys. We've heard Mike McDonald mention that he would like to see some competition for Josh Jobe, but they haven't really brought that in just yet. We'll see if that changes. The other three spots, Nehemiah Pritchett, I'm very high on. I think he's got some good potential. Maybe he's the one that competes with Josh Jobe for the starting outside corner spot. I'm going to go with Shamar Jean-Charles, the former New Orleans Saint, also getting in there. And here's another UDFA for you. Cy Alexander from LSU. No idea why this guy didn't get drafted. He should have been drafted. He's a hell of a football player. I think he steals one of those last roster spots for Seattle there. Let's go to these safeties now. And Julian Love, Kobe Bryant, they have nothing to worry about. They're turning into one of the best two tandems of safeties in the NFL. Nick Emmanwori, the rookie out of South Carolina, you'll see plenty of him, whether it's at safety as the number 3 option, whether he's playing the nickel. Nick Emmanwori is going to be very good. And then the last safety. Let's go DeAnthony Bell, who the Seahawks signed, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, making the roster. And Mike McDonald has talked about, too, that he's got a lot of plans for DeAnthony Bell. All 4 of these guys will play a significant amount in 2025. Who is a player the Seahawks should cut? Here's your chance to be ruthless, folks. Be mean. Not to me, though. Who is a player the Seahawks should cut? Weigh in the comments section. Give me a name that you think Seattle should move on from. All right, let's go over the special teams unit. Jason Myers, Michael Dixon, and Chris Stoll, I have all making the 53-man roster. No surprise there. So there you have it. That is our full breakdown. The 53-man roster projection for your Seattle Seahawks. Thank you for watching, my friends. If you made it to the end of today's video, you sat through 15 minutes of me blabbing about the 53-man roster. That means you're a real one, that you're a real member of the 12s. Spam 12 in the comment section. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. All right. So, how would you grade the Seahawks 53-man roster? A, B, C, D, or F? I still have people in the chat defending Jake Bobo here. I have made an enemy of some people by siding with Steven Sims. We are a pro Steven Sims show from this point going forward. All right? The more Bobo movement is officially over on this show. We are pro Steven Sims. Nitsu is saying Bobo has 0 fumbles. Sims has 6. All you need to know. Nitsu, have you ever seen Jake Bobo try to return a kick on special teams? Have you ever seen him try to return a punt? No, and it's never going to happen because he's too slow. Steven Sims can make a difference in special teams as well as in the receiving game. Steven Sims is the right answer. That's the right answer. But, hey, you know what? We can agree to disagree. Diversity around here. DEI, baby. Super Chat menu. If you would like to contribute to today's program, first-time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5, do a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, we'll spin the wheel of punishment. $50, do a beer bong. If we reach $300 in Super Chats, we can do a boot. But we have a long ways to go to get there, as we're at $25 right now. Nitsu's the only one that's made a valid argument about Bobo over Sims. I have not seen anyone else that has made a worthwhile argument of Bobo over Sims. Sims is the correct answer. Tex, how are we doing on mailbag questions? Sure. Okay. Mailbag coming up. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat. Jack Peterson says Bobo may be slow, but he's got great hands. Steven Sims has great hands too. And? What's your point? Why do some of you not like Steven Sims? Why do some of you not like Steven Sims? Forget about arguing for Bobo. Tell me why you don't like Steven Sims. For me, this is not about Bobo. This is about Steven Sims. This is about Steven Sims. Everybody needs to jump on the Steven Sims train. All right? Let's jump on the Steven Sims train. I will have you all convinced in no time. Okay. Great to hear. Great to hear. All right. Without further ado, let's get to our mailbag. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat. You can continue to ask more questions as we go along the mailbag and hear what you guys have to say. Yes. Sure, I'll keep it quick. I'll keep it fast. Yeah. Spoon Diddy says getting rid of Bobo would be a waste of potential talent. Couldn't I say the same thing about Steven Sims? Based on the same argument. Getting rid of Bobo would be a waste of potential talent. Wouldn't it be a waste of potential talent getting rid of Steven Sims too? Spoon Diddy says we've seen great things from him. I've seen great things from Steven Sims. And, again, stop making this about Jake Bobo. This is about Steven Sims. This is not about Jake Bobo. This is about Steven Sims. All right? Y'all are too tied to Jake Bobo. This is not about Bobo. This is about Steven Sims. Steven Sims offers you more. Simple as that. All right. Mailbag time. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Our final segment today. And then we'll wrap up and go from there. So appreciate y'all joining us. Prize Picks here. And we're ready to go. All right. Final segment. Let's get started right now. It is time to drop our sacks on this mailbag edition as we touch our bags and see what you guys have in store this week on the show. We do this on our live shows where you guys submit questions to us. I answer them in real time. And you may be wondering, man, Tyler, I want to get involved in your next mailbag segment. Well, guess what? You can too when you subscribe and you turn on notifications and you're the first to know when we have new content here on Seahawks Today, when we go live, when we do these mailbags. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, youtube.com/Seahawks TV to stay up to date with everything happening on your favorite team. We got you covered. Let's get started with the mailbag. Gingerbread Man is asking me, tell us about L.A. Oh, I was just in Los Angeles over the weekend, and I had a very good time. I'll keep this brief because I'm sure you guys want to hear about the Seahawks here. But the trip to Los Angeles, I woke up one morning in a mansion in Ranchos Palos Verdes to an ocean view, which was fantastic. I got a new suit from my suit guy I visit out in L.A. I was on a yacht at one point. I was living my best life. L.A. treated me well. I don't think I could ever live in L.A., but I do enjoy visiting. But Gingerbread Man, thanks for asking. Appreciate that $20 Super Chat as well. Salute to you, and appreciate you for getting involved in the show. Enough about me. Let's go to Jefferson, talk some football here. Do you think the Seahawks will cut Noah before the season and let him try to prove himself one last time? So if I were to guess, all right, Jefferson, I think that Seattle would like to trade Noah Fant and get that contract off the books and clear the $9 million and try to get what they can for him. But if it comes down to the decision, if no one's willing to trade for him, of cutting him or keeping him, I think that they probably rather keep him than walk away, let him walk for nothing, would be my guess. If somebody's willing to trade for him and see what you can, by all means. But the idea of just cutting him and getting nothing, I think that they would not want to do that. Elijah Arroyo, who I'm very high on, Seattle might be in the boat of, hey, we need to give him a year to process and transition and then let him take over from Noah Fant. We know Elijah Arroyo is the future. I believe he's got potential to be a star in this league. I've been very high on him. But it might take a little bit of time to get to that point, Jefferton. So, Noah, if they can't trade him, I think that he's likely back in that scenario. We'll see. Hawks All Day writes in, could the Seahawks trade for Jamal Dean? So there's talk this week that the Bucs could be potentially looking to move on from Jamal Dean. Or Jamel Dean, however you say it. Jamal, whatever. You get the idea. Dean has been pretty good in Tampa Bay. Last season, played in 12 games, 59 tackles, 7 pass breakups, 1 interception. And I have said this before, and I'll reiterate. A quote from the one and only Mike McDonald a few months ago when the Seahawks re-signed Josh Jobe. He said, hey, we like Josh Jobe. We're glad to bring him back, $2 million and all that, but we would like to have some competition for him. Well, the Seahawks didn't draft any corners. They did not bring in any competition for Josh Jobe. And they didn't really spend a ton on free agent corners either. Sure, you brought in, Jean Charles and a couple of those guys, but nobody really compete with Josh Jobe. So that tells me if they're serious about actually bringing in competition, maybe they trade for Dean or another player of that aspect. I think Dean makes a ton of sense. I don't think you'd have to give up a ton. I wouldn't hate the idea of him coming in and starting over Josh Jobe and letting Josh Jobe be your top backup corner. Should the Seahawks trade for Dean? It is our pinned comment today. Your chance to put your GM hat on. Let us know. Type T for trade, P for pass. Chime in the comments section. Tell me what you think. Today's show is sponsored by our friends at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with PrizePicks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your PrizePicks lineup, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to basketball's championship series. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on PrizePicks will enter you in the Takes 2 Tickets sweepstakes, which could get you and a +1, a VIP trip to the ship. PrizePicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. PrizePicks, I'm already looking ahead to the start of the football season, my friends. And I want to show you what I got here on PrizePicks. I'm going with our guy Sam Darnold. They have more than 3,474.5 passing yards. And I'm going with Patrick Mahomes at more than 3,924.5 passing yards. If I put $20 down, both those hit, that turns into $60 on PrizePicks. You can play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, run your game. Check out PrizePicks today. Xander writes in, I think he's asking Big Tex, although he called him Tex. Let's bring in Big Tex. Everybody,
Yes,
if you don't watch our live shows, you're missing out. You miss out on Big Tex. A very rare VOD appearance for
right.
Big Tex. Big Tex, since this question's for you, I'll let you answer first, then I'll chime in. I think people know my answer. Jalen Milroe or Drew Lock? QB2 should be who?
Jalen Milroe all the way. He's getting a lot of hype. I've really turned the corner on him on my own front. I liked what I saw over the weekend. He's doing great stuff at rookie minicamp, and I think sitting behind Sam Darnold for a couple of years is really going to benefit his development, and sky's the limit with him.
I don't see why you should hold him back. If Jalen Milroe has a good training camp and looks good in the preseason, if he's ready to be QB2, let him be QB2. No offense to Drew Lock. I like Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock is one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. He has been a good soldier when he's been here in Seattle in his previous run. Lost the starting job, that competition to Geno Smith. Still stuck around, was a good teammate. This is not anything personal with Drew Lock at all. But this is about Jalen Milroe. And I'll say this, though. If Jalen Milroe doesn't have a good training camp, if there are some growing pains, then I would have no problem with Drew Lock sticking around as the QB2 and Jalen Milroe as your QB3. History tells us Seattle typically only carries 2 quarterbacks, but that would be me. Let the process see how it plays out. If Jalen's ready, you say bye to Drew Lock. But if he's not, then go ahead and keep Drew Lock and have Jalen Milroe as your QB3. But I think that's one of the things just time will tell. Let it play itself out naturally.
Absolutely. Let things play out. Process will certainly happen in the future. And I think, I've seen a little bit of Drew Lock when he was at Missouri against my Horns, and I saw Jalen Milroe when he was at Alabama against my Horns. I think his ceiling's a lot higher in the next level. I think Milroe's got a way better potential. Give me Milroe all day.
We're Team Milroe around here. Tex, good to see you. Let's go to F the 40 Winers. I love it. I know we need another guard still. What about Liam Eichenberg, says F the 40 Winers. Liam Eichenberg. So this is a name that has come up in potential trade talks. His grades were not that great in 2024. Sounds like he could be moved. Overall grade of 53.1. Pass block grade of 49.7. Run block grade of 58.7. Only allowed 2 sacks, though. 9 penalties isn't great. But is he better than Anthony Bradford, Christian Haynes, Bryce Cabledew, Lumea? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not giving up an arm and a leg. I can tell you that much. Maybe a 7th-round pick. Let him come in and compete. Get another veteran presence on that offensive line. It really just depends on the price tag. If I don't have to break the bank, I don't have to give up too much capital, then you could potentially make something work here. But it all depends on what you have to give up. Should the Seahawks trade for Liam Eichenberg? Sound off and let us know. You got 2 options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Should they trade for Liam Eichenberg or not? Tell me in the comments section. Got time for a few more questions here. Let's go to Jimmy. Any spots we fill still red to be filled and can fill them with free agents? We mentioned offensive guard, and I think corner. I think those are the 2 spots to watch. I think that the defensive line, you can maybe use some depth. Linebacker, maybe some depth. But overall, I think Seattle likes where they're at this point. That they've done a pretty decent job of filling out their needs for the most part. But those would be the things I'd kind of point to right now. Jonathan writes in, have we not been able to see Noah Fant's potential due to the type of offense we had, or do you think it will be different now, or should we entertain trade ideas? Well, Noah Fant has played for 2 different coaching staffs now, 2 different offensive schemes, same results, 1 touchdown in 2 years. I gave him the benefit of the doubt last year. We already tried this, Jonathan. I gave him a second chance last year with a new coaching staff and said, hey, I understand you were underutilized in the previous coaching staff. Now let's get you another coaching staff. It was a pass-happy offense last year. Threw the ball actually too much, and he still didn't do that great. Clock has run out on Noah Fant. He's overpaid, and there's not enough production there. I would trade him, get what you can for him, if that's the case. Adam Baum writes in, are there any nose tackles to relieve Byron Murphy of double teams this year? Your answer is Jonathan Hankins. For better or for worse, Jonathan Hankins is going to be that guy that Seattle is going to be calling upon. He played at about 35% of snaps last year, all 17 games. That's it. That's the answer. It's going to be Jonathan Hankins, whether you like it or not. I'm not the biggest fan of Jonathan Hankins. He'll help out in the run defense, but he'll make a lot of mistakes too. But yeah, Jonathan Hankins is going to be the guy. Last question. Mike says, any chance we trade Kenneth Walker? As much as I hate to say it, yes. Very good chance Kenneth Walker gets traded. I think it's more likely he gets traded than Zach Charbonnet does. And you got a loaded running back room right now between K9, Charbonnet, Martinez, McIntosh, Holani. Somebody's got to go. And I think that Kenneth Walker, as much as I like him and I'd rather keep him, I've said this before, I would run K9 and Zach Charbonnet into the ground and maximize what you can on their rookie contracts. For K9, you're going to get at best a fifth-round pick. It might actually be a sixth or seventh-round pick. I'd rather just get the most out of him, let him walk in free agency than do that. But I could very well see K9 getting traded. We'll see. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right. Bang. I got another super chat from Myron. Myron. What's Myron got to say? Let's see. Bear cheers for Myron. Cheers, Myron. I'm not a fan of Drew Lock, but at least he has NFL experience. Please explain the rationale of having Jalen Milroe as QB2. I think I've done that, but I'll do it for you, Myron, since you're sending a super chat. Two reasons. One, we're assuming that Jalen Milroe has a very good training camp in preseason. If he does, then yes, he should be QB2. If he's ready, why hold him back? All right? So that's part of it. But then the other part of the equation is roster spots. There's only 53 of them. And I could go on a whole nother tirade, by the way. I think NFL rosters are too small at 53. You watch college football on the weekend, there's 110 guys on a roster. These owners are cheap asses. There should be more roster spots. There should be. I think the NFL roster should be at least 75 if we're up to me. But no way in hell is that going to happen. But roster spots are limited. Space is limited. And historically, Seattle doesn't like to carry more than two quarterbacks. And you can't really blame them either for not wanting to carry more than two quarterbacks. So if somebody's got to go, it's Drew Lock. It's not your third-round pick and Jalen Milroe. So that's the other part of that equation. Let's go back to Super Chat menu. And this is your last chance to get on today's show before we go. I'm putting 1 minute on the clock. Super Chat of any amount. We can keep the show going. Stay live for a little bit. Otherwise, we'll sign off and call it a day. First time Super Chat is get the Seahawks chant. $5, do a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, spin the wheel of punishment. $50, we will do a beer bong. Up to you guys if you want to keep this show going or if we want to sign off and call it a day. Myron says he was late. Hey, no worries, Myron. No worries. No worries at all. More than happy to answer your question. I appreciate you sending that Super Chat and get involved in the show, man. 30 seconds remaining. Reminder, no live show this Wednesday. I got to take care of some family business. I'll be honest. I'll just be real with you guys. I always, keep it 100 around here. My grandmother passed away a couple weeks ago, and so I got to go home and be with family and take care of that situation. So that's what's going on with me. But all is good. All is good. She was a lovely woman, and she watched this show, and certainly miss her. But so that's what's going on with me. That's why we're not doing Wednesday live show this week. So, but next week we'll be back to normal schedule. We'll do a live show on Monday and Wednesday. So stay tuned for that right here on Seahawks Today. We are just about to sign off. Before we do, folks, quick reminder, subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV is where you can subscribe. Even though I'm taking off Wednesday and I'll be out the rest of the week, I'll still have plenty of coverage for you here on the channel. We'll have videos each and every day. And if anything happens while I'm away with family, then we will have videos from maybe my parents' backyard or something, or whatever it may be. So we'll keep you posted on all that throughout the channel this week. So stay tuned. We got you covered one way or the other. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now for free. Appreciate y'all being here. Stay tuned to the channel all week long. Next week, live shows on Monday and Wednesday. Back to a normal schedule. We will see you then. For Big Tex, I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great night, everybody. So long.